Welcome back to another video on the channel here on the Colombians Football Report. Today we're going to talk about two games that took place on day 2 of the 2026 World Cup. The first game was Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now this is a game that I think Canada should have won, in all honesty. They were the better team throughout the game. They had more possession, more shots, more dangerous chances, but Bosnia took their most dangerous chance and converted it, while Canada were only able to score one goal. Early on in the game, Jonathan David had a really good opportunity to score, but he missed when he was all alone inside the box. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. That moment was crucial for the game, as in that moment, Canada could have been winning 1-0, but instead, just a few minutes after that action, Bosnia went and scored from a corner. Now, there's an old saying in football that two headers in the box ends in a goal, and that's exactly how Bosnia scored their goal. It was a cross put in. Kolasinac headed it on to Lukic where he could head it once again into the back of the net. And I believe this is his first international goal and only his fourth game. He got called up basically at the last minute due to his amazing season in Romania. But before that, he never was a player that was actually in the pecking order for Bosnia. But today he replaced Dzeko, who was not fully fit, and he scored. So it was the correct decision from the manager. After that, though, Canada just went on an onslaught of attack after attack after attack. Bosnia, they didn't create anything. Canada could have easily tied the game right before half. Tanny over here, he had a brilliant opportunity, but he skied it. I think he really should have done much better there. And Bosnia went into the break leading 1-0. But in the second half, the trend continued. Canada continued pushing, looking for that equalizing goal. But since they were pushing so hard, they had an incredibly high line, and that actually gave Bosnia a chance to score. Demirovic was one on one with the keeper, but he ended up missing it. That was a huge opportunity, and I think that chance changed the game. If he scored that goal, Bosnia would have won this game 100%. But due to the fact that he missed that one on one, Canada knew that they still were truly in this game, that they still could equalize it at any moment. And that's when the hero of today, Kyle Larin, came on off the bench. And in just 2 minutes off the bench, he scored a brilliant volley. It took a deflection, yes, but still, it was a very nice technique. And I will say, in limited minutes, both Promise David and Kyle Larin did way more than the two strikers that started for Canada today. Meanwhile, Ali Ahmed was also pretty good off the bench, much better than Buchanan, who did not have a good game, in all honesty. And it got to a point where, near the end of the game, Bosnia, they were happy with the draw. They knew the win was unlikely, but the draw was still a decent result. And despite Canada pushing for that winner, in the end, Bosnia held on to a decent 1-1 draw. Now I think Bosnia are in pole position to qualify, and same with Canada, because both of these teams still have to face Qatar, and I have a feeling that both of these teams will easily beat Qatar. So both teams will have 4 points, and due to those 4 points, I think that will be enough to go to the next round. Whether in second or third place, it doesn't matter. So at the end, this draw actually benefited both teams in a way. Now it's time to talk about the United States versus Paraguay. And this was a very surprising game. I don't think anyone could have expected the United States to play the way they did today. Now, Paraguay actually started a little bit better for the first 3 minutes or so, but then United States, they went on a counterattack, and that counterattack ended in an own goal, the first own goal of the tournament. It was from Bobadilla, and that huge mistake, it changed the whole course of the game, because after that, the United States, they just dominated. Paraguay didn't even get close to creating any chances for themselves. The United States kept pushing and pushing for more goals. Balogun scored, but he was offside. Christian Pulisic was driving Cáceres crazy. Like he was just dribbling past him on multiple occasions, and that is exactly how the second goal was created. Christian Pulisic got past Casillas. He put in a cross for Balogun, and he finished it off brilliantly to give the United States the 2-0 lead. And after that, United States, they kept pushing for their third. They were not happy with the 2-0. They wanted even more goals. And eventually, a brilliant through ball from Tillman found Balogun. He did a fake shot, and then he hit it into the top corner. It was a brilliant goal. And he made it 3-0 right before the halftime whistle. And Paraguay were shook. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't create anything defensively. They were a mess, which was a surprise because Paraguay's defense is on paper not bad, and in the World Cup qualifiers, their defense was their strong point. But today they looked all over the place defensively. Those opening 45 minutes for the United States were definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the best football that the United States has played under manager Mauricio Pochettino. Now in the second half, Paraguay they were a little bit better. They went at the United States. They tried to get a consolation goal. An interesting moment that happened in this game was that for the first time we saw VAR being used for an action that's not a penalty or a red card, but rather VAR was used to give Almiron a yellow card for diving, which I thought was pretty interesting. And if I'm being honest, Paraguay barely anyone was good today. The only player that looked like he was creating something when he had the ball was Julio Enciso, and that's precisely how Paraguay scored their only goal of the game. Enciso got the ball in space and then found Mauricio so that he could finish it off. But it was just a consolation goal. He made it 3-1, but the United States were still in control before and even after that goal. I mean, near the end of the game, the United States were just passing the ball around. They were just having fun. And the last goal that the United States scored was insane. They just passed the ball around. The whole entire team got involved basically, and the ball eventually found Reina, who hit a Travella shot into the back of the net. For me, without a shadow of a doubt, the best goal in the World Cup so far. The United States were brilliant. Everyone was brilliant. Everyone in the defense was absolutely spectacular. The midfield was super good. The attack was super good. No one had a game for me below a 7 out of 10. They were all incredible today. And that is despite the fact that the star man, Christian Pulisic, came off at halftime. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe they were resting him. Maybe he got an injury. I don't know. But despite that, they still had an incredible performance. And that final goal, like, for me, that already might be one of the top 10 goals by the time this World Cup ends, because the move before the goal and the actual goal itself was just perfect. I see it really hard for there to be 10 better goals than that scored at this World Cup. So thanks to that way, the United States, they have silenced a lot of doubters. They had some doubters because of the recent friendlies. They looked a bit inconsistent in those friendlies, especially in March. But after this game, no one is doubting them anymore. Everyone is giving them praise. Even the haters are now praising the United States for the way they played today. And this could be a turning point for soccer in the United States. So that will do it with the recap of day 2 of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to not miss any future content. I have nothing else to say. Have a good night, everyone.